saying no during the holidays it can be tough. Like, it's just one of those things where, I mean, you just feel obligated.
You have to learn, like, saying no is truly an art. Like, you have to learn how to say no, and you don't have to give a reason. And that's something that I had to tell myself for a long time. Like, I don't have to make up something or come up with this or have an actual excuse. Like, I can actually just say no politely, and just learning to be like, thank you so much for thinking of me. That sounds so fun, but I'm actually already like have an obligation or whatever. You don't have to go into a big, it can be a very simple, thank you so much for thinking about me, but I'm not going to be able to be there. And it's really, once you do it a few times, you're like, oh, and then they're like, okay, no worries. And you're like, oh, they're not mad at me. They're not upset with me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because for me, mine was always like, I didn't want anybody to be upset or to be mad, because I'm such a like a people pleaser. And so once I started doing it and realizing it wasn't a big deal.
Yeah.
Like, it was way better to do it that way and move on and enjoy whatever you were going to do that day that you needed. What if you worked 6 days in a row, which I would at some point, and then feel like I needed to do this thing that I didn't want to do? I'm not happy there. I'm not having, you know what I mean? You're just, you're tired. You don't even get the good experience that you should have. And it's interesting because I just was watching a documentary, like probably within the last year, cannot tell you who it was. It was a woman they were interviewing, and she said, I learned I have a rule now, and if I'm going to have to rush or, you know, feel tired or stressed, it's an automatic no. And for example, if somebody invites me to something and it's at 6:00 and I don't get off till 5:15, and I already know I'm going to, you know, be super stressed getting there. I'm probably going to be late. I'm going to feel bad. You know, if I run through all those things and I'm going to feel rushed or stressed, then it's automatic no for me, because it ruins the whole event and occasion. It ruins the whole experience. And I started thinking about that, and I was like, that is so true. It does ruin the experience, because you're super stressed getting there, and then you're there and you're not really in it because your nervous system is like shot by the time you get there, right? You're not fully in the experience, and it's not enjoyable to you. You know?
Yeah.
So it's like, that made a lot of sense to me. I was like, that's actually a good filter to run things through, like in your mind. Like, if I'm going to be rushed and stressed the whole time and not be able to be present in the experience, then it's okay that it's a no.
Yeah.
You know? And sometimes you're like thinking, oh, I'm working 6 days and that's my only day. You know? It should probably be no, you know, because you need time and you need a day, and you know, you can politely decline, you know, and people aren't going to be mad at you. And if they're mad at you, they're not really your people. Bri was over last weekend and we were running through Thanksgiving and stuff. And I feel like the poor guy's always kind of stressed, like I was young at that age too, because he wants to make everybody happy. And him and I have very similar personalities. And he's always wore down by the time he gets all the way to my parents' house, because my parents are like 2 hours from his dad's house. Right. And he tries to do all of them because he doesn't want to hurt their feelings. He doesn't want to hurt our feelings. And I pulled him aside. I always walk him to his car when he was leaving. And I was like, hey, by the way, like, if you can't come to Thanksgiving to Mom's, please don't. If you want to go to your dad's and enjoy the day and you worked all week and you're tired, you are not going to hurt anybody's feelings. You know, I told him that my 2 nephews aren't going to be there. Like, and he's like, no, I mean, I still want to, you know, it's important to me, and I want to see, you know, my nanny and all that. And I'm like, I know, we know it's important, but just so you know, you're not going to get some type of way from us, you know, because as you do get older, they do change, and you have a job and a career, and he travels all the time, and he's just wore down. And I'm like, you don't have to, you know? And so hopefully he was listening and felt like, okay, you know, I don't have to do that. And that's kind of where you get, like, sometimes I would choose, like, I'm going to go here for Thanksgiving, I'm going to go to here for Christmas, because I don't want to be rushing and on the road and traveling and spending my whole day in the car and your kids in the car. And then you're like, what was the whole point of Christmas if we just sat in the car, or we ran around like crazy people and opened a gift really fast and left? What is the point of it? You know what I mean? And so I understand why some people during the holidays, I know a lot of people that they choose to have their Christmas on a separate day.
Yeah.
We used to do that as well for many years. On like the Saturday before Christmas, we would all do our Christmas so that everybody could go do their own Christmases and enjoy the day. And I kind of like that idea too sometimes, because you're like, oh, I still get my big Christmas with my family, but also can start my own Christmas traditions as well.